Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about a massive variety of topics: WWE, AEW, free agents, big plans, new signings, everything you could ask for in a video. It's coming up right here on The Ango Show. All right, y'all, we're going to kick things off with Alexa Bliss. This is a very interesting story because Dave Meltzer is reporting that Alexa Bliss is going to be taking a lengthy hiatus from WWE. Multiple other sources have also added in that she will be taking a break from WWE, but nobody really knows exactly what is going on here. And I really think it is foolish to speculate on something, especially when it involves the personal lives of these wrestlers. As you guys know on this channel, I don't typically talk about the personal lives of wrestlers. I talk about storylines. Now, if this is in fact a storyline because of Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt, cool, I'm excited about it. If there is something going on personally in Alexa Bliss's life, whether it's injury, family matters, whatever it may be, it's not my job to speculate or provide analysis on that. So therefore, I'm going to leave it pretty simply. And quite simply, I'm just going to say, if there is something going on with Alexa Bliss that is preventing her from WWE, hey, no problem. Take care of whatever you got to take care of. You guys know on this channel, I always say personal matters, family matters, personal health, all this stuff always comes before work. So in the event of Alexa Bliss, that is no different. I think she's a hell of a talent, and I would prefer to see her on TV. But if there is something going on outside of that, no big deal. Hopefully all goes well and it all gets taken care of. And we'll see Alexa Bliss whenever she comes back, and we'll be ready to support her. Guys, WWE has plans to go to Australia. This is massive. Saudi Arabia is getting King and the Queen of the Ring. WWE is taking Money in the Bank and SmackDown to London. And we also know that Puerto Rico is getting WWE Backlash. The good news is WWE is not stopping with their global expansion because they're going to be doing a PLE in Australia as long as the Western Australian government agrees to a deal. According to Meltzer, they are in talks for run a major stadium show. No idea when this will take place. A lot of sources are coming out and saying that WWE typically wants to do one in the fall. So if this is something that WWE does where they do an international PLE in the fall, that is absolutely perfect with me. WWE going to Australia is huge. Obviously, they have some Australian stars there. I'm excited to see what WWE does. I think they've been doing a hell of a job with all of their stuff, man. With the PLEs, they've improved so much. Triple H is absolutely killing it, and I support this as long as Vince McMahon is not running creative. So with that being said, WWE coming to Australia more than likely is going to happen, and we should expect some announcements soon. And with that said,
today's video is brought to you by our good friends at Wrestling GM. It's a free-to-play mobile game available on iOS and Android, and it allows you to take full creative control of your own wrestling promotion. The best part is the options are endless. You have the abilities to create a show that has a minimum of 90-minute runtime. So therefore, you can set up promos, debuts, backstage attacks. You could set up some matches. And by the way, the match types are absolutely sick. I don't remember the last time I've seen a Inferno match or Buried Alive match on TV anyways. And thankfully, this game allows you to do all of it with full control. Now, the cool thing is this game also has a really dope community on Reddit. So if you guys see me on there, make sure you say hi. I've been playing it for the last few days and I want you guys to join me. So to get started, go ahead and check out the link in the description. Thank you to Wrestling GM for sponsoring today's video.
all right, y'all, now we're going to kick things off with some AEW news. I want to talk about AEW Revolution. There's been a lot of talks about AEW Revolution, and more specifically, the pay-per-view buys of AEW Revolution. So according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, AEW Revolution drew between 120 to 130K pay-per-view buys. It's expected to go a little bit over 130 with the late pay-per-view buys. But for reference, it's actually down from the previous year. So last year, AEW Revolution did about 165 to 173,000 buys. And then AEW Full Gear, which was the previous pay-per-view, did about 140,000 buys, which was MJF versus Jon Moxley. So here's the thing. You're going to have a lot of people talk about this and say, AEW in the mud. No, I don't actually agree with that. I think AEW doing 100 to 130,000 pay-per-view buys is actually really good. You got to remember, each pay-per-view costs $50 a pop, so just do the math. It is obviously a lot of money that they could be making from this. This doesn't include anything else. As you guys know, AEW has advertising and stuff like that, you know, so WWE and AEW have two different methods. WWE's on Peacock, AEW's on traditional pay-per-view. I think this number is pretty damn solid. This is way better than I could have imagined, because I thought the pay-per-view buildup was garbage, but it just goes to show you that AEW's pay-per-views do very significantly well for them. They still get buys. And also, I think MJF, just keep this in mind, MJF and Bryan Danielson, I think those names are bigger than Moxley and MJF, but that's just my opinion. So we'll leave it at that. Obviously, this is considered a big success from me. Whether or not AEW is profitable with it, it's hard to tell. But yeah, very interesting. Guys, I want to talk about the Elite. Tony Khan is in the works of trying to keep them long term. Dave Meltzer is saying that AEW wants to sign them 2 new deals before they become free agents, and it's already in the process of getting worked out. AEW is working on signing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega to new long-term deals well before they become free agents, and obviously a lot of people speculated that the Elite could be out because they dropped the titles to House of Black, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think AEW is in a situation right now, as it stands, when they are providing television content, there is a lot of things happening backstage, and we don't really know how involved the Elite are backstage. And because AEW is involved in that type of situation where we only know half the story, it is really hard to speculate as to whether or not Kenny and the Bucks as EVPs is actually amounting to anything in the company. Now, with that being said, as talent, because you got to remember they have 2 different contracts, as talent, AEW losing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, I think that's pretty massive. I think it hurts the company. I've said this before. If the Elite and the Young Bucks, the Elite together, they go to WWE, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega will thrive in WWE. Triple H will not let them down because their goal will be to continue bringing in the big names from AEW. But I also want to make it very clear that if AEW loses them and AEW loses them for good, there is going to be a lot of money for AEW to spend. So it's not all necessarily bad if they sign some big free agents to make up for it. So at the end of the day, it's really important that AEW gets this right. It's going to be a very interesting situation. I say interesting a lot because it is interesting to me, but also dead ass serious too. Like, I'm not even joking when I say this. And this is like real reaction. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are really, really good, and they do a lot of things for AEW, okay? But at the same time, too, how are they benefiting from being in AEW? And that's a serious question that I think a lot of people need to answer because, yeah, they're the Elite, and yeah, like they're part of the big storylines or whatever, and yeah, they held the Trios Championships and stuff. Yeah, like that's cool, but like, how else are they benefiting from it? How are they benefiting from it from being an EVP? Those are things to look into. All right, guys, Taya Valkyrie coming to AEW. Very well could be the case. Obviously, AEW is teasing a major debut for next week Dynamite, the TBS Championship on the line. Jade Cargill wants somebody from Canada. All signs are pointing to Taya Valkyrie, which would make sense considering that she's from Canada. Also, we know PW Insider and multiple other sources have confirmed that she is no longer going to be with Impact moving forward. Just a week ago or so, we were talking about how it is expected that she will be going to either WWE or AEW. I support this, whichever decision she makes. I think Taya Valkyrie is going to be great in either company. I think AEW, obviously losing some superstars in recent months, will definitely, it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg to sign her. They need more talent for the women's division. My only concern, it's not an AEW concern, it's not a WWE concern. WWE brought her in as Frankie Monet and did absolutely nothing with her. So if AEW does the same thing, they cannot just do nothing with her. If she goes back to WWE, there is no chance in hell WWE is going to bring her back and do nothing with her. You got to do something with her. It's as simple as that. She cannot be a good free agent, come into the company, and that's it. She's got to be a good free agent, come into the company, and get utilized. And that right there, my friends, solves absolutely everything. I want to know what you guys think of all these stories in the comment section down below. I'll see you next time.